Okay, let's jump right into this explainer. Today, we're looking at Immortal Realm's Britannia Murders questline. I've got my co-host here with me, and we are going to break down exactly what you need to know before you log in and start tracking down clues. And right off the top, let me promise you this. We are keeping things completely spoiler light.
Which I really appreciate because I haven't actually played through this one yet. I've got my Runa books open, my character's logged in, and I'm just ready to figure out what I'm getting myself into here.
Perfect. We're going to get you completely prepped. By the end of this, you'll know where to start, what to pack, and exactly how to pace yourself, all without ruining a single surprise.
So just looking at the name, Britannia Murders, I'm kind of assuming this is going to be a pretty heavy kill quest loop. Like, just hacking my way through a bunch of mob camps to get to a boss?
Actually, it's the exact opposite of a standard kill quest. It really helps to contrast it directly with Immortal Realm's other major questline, the Ashen Pact. Where Ashen Pact is very introspective and, archaeological, Britannia Murders is strictly procedural and detective-flavored.
Procedural? Like an actual investigation?
Exactly. You're talking to NPCs, traveling between named locations, gathering specific evidence, and recognizing patterns. You're tracking something across the realm, and the realm is responding to it. There are combat encounters, absolutely, but they're situational. They serve the story rather than being the whole point of the quest.
Okay, but situational combat still means actual combat. Do I need to bring my top-tier weapons or have maxed out combat skills to make it through this investigation alive? Because I really don't want to get stuck halfway through just because my armor isn't maxed out.
Don't worry, the prep is actually incredibly accessible. You really only need a mid-tier combat skill, so around 60 plus in your primary skill, to handle the encounters that are there. Oh, well that's not bad at all. Not at all. You will want some basic healing, so definitely pack some bandages or have basic magery ready for those occasional fights. You also need a working bag with some gold for in-quest expenses and maybe leave some room to take some notes. But the absolutely most crucial thing to pack? The recall spell. A combat light mage with recall is honestly the ideal build for this. Honestly, even a pure crafter without any combat skills whatsoever can complete this entire questline, provided they just use recall to teleport away from any threat encounters.
So I really need to heavily rely on recall and my rune books. But wait, isn't part of the fun in UO walking between the cities and actually seeing the world? Normally, yes, walking is very romantic. But for this specific investigation, walking simply doesn't add to the experience. The investigation spans across multiple cities. Like, what happens in Britain directly affects what unfolds over in Vesper. If you don't use your recall spell in your runebooks for intercity travel, your transit time becomes this massive, totally unnecessary share of your total playtime. You really want to spend your time connecting clues, not just running down empty dirt roads.
Got it. Runebooks are packed and ready, so if I'm not walking, I'm saving a lot of time. Can I just knock this whole investigation out in one Friday night? The short answer is no, and you really shouldn't try to. It is an 8 to 12 hour total commitment. Phase 1 alone takes about an hour or two just to set the hook. Then phases 2 through 5 are the real meat of the investigation, taking anywhere from 4 to 8 hours. And finally, you have phase 6, the resolution, wrapping it all up in another hour or two.
So the quest is split into exactly 6 discrete phases, and you cannot skip ahead. And this is a very important detail. Player progress is tracked per character.
Meaning if I log off, I don't lose my spot in the investigation?
Precisely. The game remembers exactly where you are, and because it tracks your specific state, you can, and absolutely should, pause between these phases.
So the crucial loop is basically this. You complete the objectives, unlock the next phase, and then pause and process. Every single phase builds an arc that the next phase relies on.
Wait, so you're saying taking a break actually helps your progress?
It really does. The source guide strongly recommends stretching this out across multiple real-world sessions. Sleeping on what you just learned makes the subsequent phases land so much harder. You might literally find yourself over in Vesper doing routine vendor shopping the next day, and then suddenly it clicks, or you bump into a quest character. If you chain it all back to back in one night, the details just blur together. Spread it out and the mystery really lingers.
Okay, look, I love a good mystery. But come on, just between us, who's the killer? Or at the very least, tell me what I'm looking for in those middle phases. Just give me a tiny hint about the evidence.
Nope, I am shutting that down right now. The guide deliberately doesn't say, and neither will I. Investigation quests are at their absolute best when they are discovered completely cold.
Seriously? Not even a little hint about the middle cities?
Not a chance. The entire payoff of the Britannia Murders comes from you making those obscure connections yourself. If I tell you who the victims are or exactly how Phase 3 connects to Phase 4, I am basically stealing the reward from you. Trust me, you'll thank me later.
So instead of spoilers, let's talk about the mistakes that will absolutely ruin the experience. We've already mentioned speedrunning and walking instead of recalling, but the biggest trap by far is skipping through NPC dialogue.
Okay, I have to admit, sometimes I do just click through quest text to get to the objective.
You absolutely cannot do that here. This quest line assumes you are paying attention. NPCs have consistent personalities, and they will explicitly reference earlier conversations. Patterns are going to repeat. If you skim the text, you will miss the connections. Full stop.
And that brings us to the Discord community. The Shards Quest channel is great, but their golden rule is share theories, not solutions.
So I can talk about it with people, but I shouldn't go looking for the answers online?
Exactly. Veteran players are usually very careful not to spoil things for newer players, but the active chat might still be discussing a phase that is way ahead of your current progress. You need to read selectively, or honestly, better yet, just stay out of the channel entirely until you've solved it.
Fair enough. I will keep my head down and my eyes on the clues. But let's talk payout. What is the actual loot for spending up to 12 hours solving this thing? Well, let's manage expectations here, because the payout structure is very specific. The mechanical rewards are time tokens, plus some quest-specific cosmetic items, achievement progress in your quest category, and of course, the story closure itself.
So, no massive power spikes. Right, you are not going to get a level cap raise, and you aren't walking away with some crazy power tier weapon. If you are a hardcore combat fan expecting a massive gear upgrade at the end of a grind, you should probably pick a different activity. The point of this questline is the investigation itself.
You know, honestly, this sounds incredibly refreshing. I am totally sold. I've got my bandages, my rune books are set, I've got gold in my bag, and I promise I'm ready to actually read the dialogue. Where exactly do I need to go right now to kick things off?
All right, here is your mission. Log in and head straight to New Haven, the curated new player city. Specifically, walk right into the New Haven Inn.
Just the regular inn?
Just the regular inn. Once you're inside, look for a named NPC working there. They're going to seem pretty worried about something. Now, if you recently rolled a new character, you might have actually already passed by them waiting there. If you're a returning player and you skipped New Haven entirely, just recall in. Talk to that worried employee, listen to their opening conversation, take the letter they give you, and let Phase 1 begin.
And that brings us to the end of our explainer. You have the parameters, you have the prep, and you have your starting point. The only question left is, are you ready to track the patterns, or will you let the trail go cold? Trust your notes. Pace yourself, and good luck out there in Britannia.